Alright everybody, so this video is for some of those noob division people out there. Because I've been looking at a lot of videos lately that have been like a year to 3 years old on this game. And every single tech build in this Division 1 game is trash. Like, no one is giving you guys the real information of what this build is actually capable of getting to. And how powerful it actually really is. Because, for instance, there was a video I looked up a couple days ago that was 391k skill power, which is equal to what I'm at right now. Which is good. That's actually pretty decent skill power. I'd say minimum is probably 365 that you want to push. But like when you actually mid-max this tactician build and actually fully mid-max it, your skill power needs to be over 420,000. And some people say, oh, 400k is like the highest in the game, or it's like the best in the game, it could do all content. It's like, no. Not even fucking close. Because 400k skill power can do challenge mode, you know, solo. But when you do multiplayer and you're playing with friends, the enemy difficulty gets harder because you have more people in your party. So to amplify your damage, you need to stack your skill power even higher. Which also implies, you know, your talent trees and everything else like that stack up to increase skill power. So I wouldn't listen to any of those builds on the internet. So there's two ways to play this build. And I wouldn't say two ways to play it. I mean, you could play it kind of like there's only two ways to really play it, honestly. You have sticky bomb and turret. Now, those two skills are made for two different situations. So for instance, the sticky bomb you want to use on shielded heavy enemies, you want to use on bosses, you want to use on medics because they're a fucking pain in the ass, and if any chance, which is most of the time, if you get bombarded by two shotgunners at the same time, you fucking sticky bomb the floor and let the shotgunners walk into it and blow them up, because if they get next to you, you're dead. Other than that, don't ever use your sticky bomb. Use your turret. But if you're good with the sticky bomb and get multiple kills, and you're not missing, you're not shooting one enemy, then go for it. Use sticky bomb. Whoop-de-doo. And Seeker Mine is your primary. So, actually, let's back out to that. I'll show you guys what I'm using, because I use this one. The sensor turret, because it does the most damage. And this actually goes higher than 11,000. I think you can get this to like 12,000 if you're fully mid-max, and I'm talking like full mid-max, like over 420,000 skill power. It might even go to 12.5. And I use the recovery link for obvious reasons, because we're tech, we're squishy, we're going to die pretty easily, so this saves our ass like all the time. If you're in a party with friends, you could probably go with this one, the survival link. Not survival, but survivor if you wanted to. That's up to you. But solo, definitely use this. Don't use the med kits. Don't use any of this bullshit. It doesn't fucking do anything. Yeah, it heals a lot, but it's not going to save your life. And not to mention, when you have a lot of haste in this build, this is going to come back in like a minute. So, it's not a big deal. And then Seeker Mines, we're using the clusters because we want to have as many Seeker Mines out as possible to do as much damage as possible, and like I said, the damage goes higher. So we're at 80k, which might not seem like a lot, but this actually goes over 123,000 damage passive, like it's just default. Because I think my build on PS4 had 428,000 skill power default with no buffs, and I was at 121,000, 123,000, and it scaled up to 700,000 in damage. Now, it only scales that high when your talents and all your shit procs and your tactician stacked at 30 stacks, and also when you apply the chest piece, you get 10% when all your skills are on cooldown. Right here. Right? Yeah. Yeah, right here, 10%. So it starts to add up in a lot of damage. And I've seen so many YouTube videos, dude, who just think that their skill power is like high and it's like perfect. It could do whatever the fuck you want it to do in the game. It's just such a lie. It's such bullshit. Like, I saw one guy use a full 6-piece tactician classified, thinking it was like the best set in the game, and it was the most OP tech set in the game. It's bullshit. Not even fucking true whatsoever. The full 6-piece is good if you're in a party, don't get me wrong, because this is really useful when you're in a party. But people think, oh, 3,000 electronics for 20% chance to recover. Right? Yeah. I think it's skill power, right? Using a different skill at 60% has a 40% chance buff. See, this is kind of like stupid. You're like altering your skills. That's not good. Because, for instance, if you were to use your Seeker Mine, you would have a 60% chance to set the buff power back to 30, while keeping the cap at 60, which would increase your damage. But to me, that feels a bit tedious, because you're like altering your abilities to try to make one or the other more powerful than the other. It's just stupid. And people think that's actually like the best build in the game, because you get more skill power based on every 3,000 tech, which is stupid. Like I said, good for parties, but not solo. And I've even seen one guy use a fucking like a yellow boots and something and a tech chest piece. It's like, what? There's a yellow chest piece that's better than that, and it's just like this one, but it's got skill power with haste and a tech. And I sold my yellow chest piece on accident, so I am using this one. This Barrett's bulletproof vest is made for people who want to be like a glass cannon, which this build accelerates at if you play it right and build it right. But this chest piece can fuck you over, because that 10% is huge, but you lose the 10% once you use your first skill. Doesn't matter what skill. If you use a turret, you lose the 10%, but you gain the 10% buff on that skill, which means your turret's going to hit that much harder. But your Seeker Mines are going to do 10% less, because you lost the 10% buff, which means your Seeker Mines will do default base damage that it normally would do, which is still not a bad thing. The backpack, it's always this one: tech, skill power, and ammo. Yeah, increase skill power by 15%. I don't need this backpack, because this, I think, is pretty bad. I don't even remember what chest piece I was trying to go for, but this is not the right one. You don't want this perk, but you want tech and you want skill power. And like I said, you need to min-max your builds to make them powerful, and this build is by far nowhere complete, because as you've seen, the backpack's crap. The chest piece is okay, but I didn't roll haste on it, so I'm pretty pissed about that. So you need to roll haste and preferably resistance if you want it, but if not, you could do health, if it can roll health. I don't remember, actually. Let's check that. I don't remember if you can roll haste and health at the same time. Yeah, I don't remember. If you can, that's sick. But anyways, the YouTubers out there are fucking stupid with this build. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. They think their builds are OP when they're not. They're like mildly OP. So for the chest piece, you can get the Barrett's chest. You want it to roll tech, and you want it to roll haste. Mine rolled health, unfortunately, and I had to roll it to this, so it was a waste of my stats. But it also rolled health and resistance, and you kind of want haste and resistance or something else. Now for the mods, you want haste electronic on all of your gear. Okay, this brings up another thing I've seen on YouTubers. I watched one guy play the same build I'm playing right here, but he was using a full 6-piece or something like that. Or his chest piece was classified, but everything else was like classified besides his boots, or not boots, but knee pads. And he had damage to elite purple mods on his gear. Now, oh my god, dude. Like, how stupid do you have to be to have damage to elite mods on your gear? There's no fucking reason to do that. You don't need damage to elites mods on your gear. Not as a tech build. I mean, for one, your turret does absurd damage. It ignores armor. So you don't need fucking damage to elites. Your Seeker Mine, it goes through armor based on your skill power and your damage to armor. The damage to elites is fucking useless. So when you look at it, crit chance is almost 20%. It can go to 23 maximum because you're kind of wasting stats. You know, crit chance could probably go to 75 to 80. You don't need health on kill because it's pointless. Damage to elites is 28. Preferably don't go below 23 and don't go above 32 if possible. And then enemy armor damage. See, this is where your damage comes from. You don't need damage to elites to be fucking 50 or 60. Enemy armor damage is more important than damage to elites. So as long as you got like 23%, 18%, 27, whatever, you're golden. I mean, if you got 28 to 34, then you could do legendary mode. But to do legendary mode, I would recommend to get at least 395k to 400k skill power, maybe 385, depending on how you feel comfortable with your build. And then haste, it needs to be 50. The only reason why it's not 50 is because the chest piece, like I said, did not roll haste, so I don't have 50. But 50 is where you need to be. So on with the mask. Like I said, it needs to roll tech, and I don't think this rolled tech. I had to roll it myself. I don't remember. It also came with enemy armor damage, which, if you want, I think it could come with crit chance. But enemy armor damage is really good. But once you have over 400k skill power, I would go with crit chance or crit damage instead, with damage to elites. But if yours rolled damage to elites, then you can just change this out. But mine didn't roll, obviously. And for this piece, you want haste as well with tech, like always. And you want to try to get the highest tech as possible, because I think it caps out at 262 or 267. I don't remember. But you want to try to get the highest ones, and they take a long time to get. For the knee pads, you want it to be rolled tech, and you want it to be rolled skill power. Everyone thinks skill power is not worth putting on your gear. People think, oh, I need health, or oh, I need haste, or I need crit. It's like, no. Skill power equals damage. Haste equals reduced cooldowns for your skills so you can use them more, which is more damage. But people think health and gun damage and all the other bullshit that goes in here is better. You want skill power on every fucking piece of gear. It's the whole point of the build. And then down here, I would recommend damage to elites, bleed and burn, because bleed and burn are your two, like, kind of worst nightmares in this game. Specifically burn. But like if you get hit by a grenade, it's bleed damage. So this is pretty useful, but burn is like your priority though. And then damage to elites. And then for this one you also want the haste tech. And for the mod down here, the performance mod, this one is hard to get, the 4% Seeker Mine damage mod. Because the one you can buy from the vendor is 3.50, which is actually really good. But if you want to min-max your build, you need all four of these, or four, I think. So try to get these, and you can only get these in like 2 different areas. You can get it from the underground. You could probably get it from PvP, but I wouldn't recommend it. And I think you can get it from the PvP vendor, possibly. But the underground is probably your best bet. That's where I've gotten like 2 or 3 so far on this character. So you definitely need that. And for the backpack, like I said, you want the tactical backpack, you want it rolled tech, and you want it rolled skill power, and you want it to have ammo capacity. And for the backpack talent, you don't want increased skill power when signature skill is active. I don't think I have one, but there's a backpack that like gives you like increased skill power or something like that, when at full health or something. I don't freaking remember. You guys will probably know what I'm talking about, but that's the one you want. I don't remember what it is. But yeah, for this one, you also want haste tech. And like I said, you want the Secret Mind mods. I haven't got all the 4.0 ones yet. And for the gloves, now the gloves, you want to actually roll tech. Don't roll tech. The gloves need to passively have tech on them, just to save you fucking the hassle. But the gloves, if you want to like min-max your gear and have a really powerful build, your gloves need to have crit damage and crit chance default. But if not, you know, it is what it is. But you want haste on there as well. And yeah, these are like the 3 best stats you can have on this build. Because your Seeker Mines, when they crit, they do more damage, obviously. But your Seeker Mines have a bleed. So when your bleed hits, it has a chance to crit. So your bleeds can do a lot of damage to armor. But also the initial explosion from your Seeker Mines can crit, which is a lot of damage. So it builds up. And for the holster, always get haste. Always. And it doesn't matter what rolls, because it's usually all going to be the same stats. Your holster always rolls all 3 stats. But the holster needs to have haste on it. And then for the holster, we're also using Seeker Mine, obviously. So everything is Seeker Mine damage and haste. Haste electronics. Like I said, this build is nowhere near min-maxed because I got a few pieces that are all janky. Now, as far as weapons, there's 2 ways you can go about this. Low gear score equals having all 3 talents. And what do I mean by that? If your gear score is this, you can't use your talents. Because as you see, Predatory requires almost 5,000. There's no way in hell you're going to get that with the tech build. Not even close. But with this, all your stats are under 2,500 besides tech, which you're obviously going to have. So the lowest you can go in weapons is 212, I believe. But if you want to go really, really low, just to make sure, probably, I think it's 195? 180? Yeah, right here, 194. So 194 is as low as you want to go, because then it pushes all your stats to 2,000 instead of 2,500. And there's Predator, 2,500. So if you want Predator on your weapon, you cannot have Predator on a 212 weapon, because if Predator is 2,500 on a 194, it's going to be over 3,000 on a 212 weapon, which you don't want that. But yeah, I would definitely recommend Predator on your build if you're going to do hard content, or if your build just isn't quite up to par in damage and you do get hit quite a bit. Predator is definitely really good. But like I said, oh, excuse me, tired. But like I said, for guns, it's kind of like a preference. If you like the Elvoa, go for it. You know, if you like the Tactical M16, go for it. If you like the P416 military weapon, go for it. If you can get a Police M4 with these specific mods, go for it. Do not use submachine guns. Do not use DMRs. Do not use LMGs or shotguns or sniper rifles. They're trash. Your weapons are stat sticks. They're not used to kill people. They're used to shoot people, to build tactician stacks, and that is it. And maybe if the enemy's got like 5% health, maybe finish them off and proc your Predatory. Your guns are not meant to kill people in this game. They're literally stat sticks. They're used for the talents, and that is it. People that do these builds don't fucking understand that. Like, they're all stupid. People think their guns are meant to do damage. Now, when it comes to guns, you need to have 5 perks, I think. So Talented needs to be on your weapon. Either you put it on there or the gun comes with it, but your gun has to come with 2 other perks. So you need destructive, determined, and talented on the same weapon. Now here's my thing. Why do you want these 2, talented and determined, on the same weapon? They stack. Okay, killing a target with a weapon increases skill power by 15% for 20 seconds. That is a long time. And if you kill an enemy, the timer refreshes back to 20 seconds. Now, killing an enemy reduces skill cooldowns. That's why these 2 stack. So killing an enemy increases damage. And when you kill an enemy, reduces skill cooldowns so you can proc more skills. Plus, you have enemy armor damage, which stacks on top of your armor damage, the enemy armor damage you already have, for 15%. And here's what I think people are doing, because if you read this, it says increased by 15% when using this weapon. It's almost like people think that destructive only works if you shoot the target, which is increasing your gun damage. That's not how it works. If the gun is in your hand, when you use your skills, this will passively be activated. You don't have to use your gun. Like, every YouTuber that do these videos are fucking retarded. They think that their talent is only made for when they're actually shooting their gun. That's not how it works. Like, if I was to use this gun, which is the Elvoa, in combat, this talent would always be active. But if I was to switch to this gun, destructive would still be active, but I would lose my other perk, because I would switch it out for predatory. But I would still have damage, or not damage to kills, but reducing the skill cooldowns. But if I killed someone, I would get predatory. But here's the thing. If you're fighting a lot of enemies with this weapon, to proc this, if you killed someone with this, you would get this passively be there, but then if you get to low health, then you switch to this weapon, shoot out your sticky bomb or seeker mines, and if you killed someone or if someone's almost dead, shoot them, and boom, you just got predatory. Now you don't need this gun anymore because your predatory lasts for 20 seconds. Now you could switch back to this gun to keep your stacks going and to keep this going. But if you're getting shot at all the time and taking damage all the time, then you can just keep this active to keep your predatory keep going, but you're going to lose the 20% skill damage. So you got to keep that in mind. But people don't understand how the mechanics of these work. Now, for when it comes to the gun, God, that was like a lag. When it comes to the mods, there's a scope. This scope right here is actually worth using. If I would prefer to use this one on the gun that you're going to use all of your abilities on, which for me is this gun. But I chose to sacrifice crit chance for crit damage and crit chance, so I'm not using it. But if you have low crit chance, then go with 7.5%, because that's really useful. But it's kind of up to you. And for magazine, try to go with the highest crit chance possible, which I think is 3. But I don't have any good mods that are really that good. They're all 250. Because like I said, I've been playing this build for a while, but I'm not even mid-max, not even close. It takes a long time to get all this shit. For the holster, or not for the holster, Jesus, I'm playing too many fucking games. For the grip. I'd say for the grip, try to go with as high of crit as you can. Because, like, there's really no other way to do this. Like, you need the crit. So, yeah, go with a high crit. And for the suppressor, you could probably go 2 ways about this. You could do crit damage, crit chance, which is what I have. Or you could do, I think, crit damage only. I don't remember, because I don't have all the freaking muzzle stuff in the game. So, but yeah, just go with as high crit and high crit chances as you can get. But only go with crit chance and crit damage on the gun that you're only going to use to maximize damage. So for instance, 20% or 15% skill damage. That's going to maximize my damage. So I want this shit to hit hard. So I want that crit chance, crit damage. Now for the second weapon, You don't need crit chance, crit damage necessarily because it's only used to proc predatory. You don't need it to proc the other shit. That's just extra. Now, because I don't really have any other scopes, I used crit chance because you still need crit chance, but you don't need to max out your crit chance like you would on the other weapon. You just want a little bit of crit chance. And for this one, same thing, just crit chance. Maybe a really high magazine if you have one. For the weapon, you know, try to go with crit damage, crit chance, or, you know, something that your gun doesn't have a lot of recoil with crit damage, whichever. The muzzle brake, same thing, crit chance, crit damage, or or just crit damage, whichever. Try to keep your damage at a fairly decent damage. Try not to go too low. But like I said, you can only go to a certain distance with your score, so it's not like you're gonna use your guns to kill people. It's not what they're made for. Pistol doesn't really matter. I don't fucking use my pistol. It deals more damage when the targets are below health. Whoop-de fucking do, because it doesn't do anything. Pistols are pointless. People think pistols are good. They're trash. They don't do shit. So now with weapons, for instance, like I said, this weapon, crit hit chance 18.5%, crit damage is 65. And when I switch weapons, I think it switched weapons. It didn't switch weapons, okay. But yeah, the damage is definitely less. Yeah, it's not going to switch weapons, whatever. But yeah, as long as one of your weapons has a really high crit chance. I totally forgot to go over the talent trees. But yeah, so for the talent trees, they're kind of basic. This is for your Seeker Mines. Applying bleed to any target triggers a 30% chance to apply bleed to all targets in 10 meters. That's not even a 30% chance. This one might actually be confusing to some people. So when you hit people with your Seeker Mines, when your Seeker Mines seek out enemies and explode, each enemy that gets hit by that Seeker Mine 100% has a chance to be bled by the Seeker Mine. But that person who got bled by the Seeker Mine has a 30% chance to spread that bleed to another target within 10 meters. That's how that works, from what I've experienced. But it's 100% bleed chance, proc, whatever, 100% chance to bleed when the Seeker Mine hits a target. It's not 30% chance. People like mistake that or something. So that talent is for your Seeker Mine only. And when it comes to death and proxy, this is for your character and your skills. So destroying a hostile deployed skill such as a turret or a med bay, a med box, will increase your skill power by 20 seconds. Now not 20 seconds, by 20%. See, this is skill power increased by 20%. That stacks on top of talented, which is 15%. On top of your chest piece, which is 10%. You see where this shit's going? On top of your tactician set, which is 30%. Like, this is where your skill power starts to just, like, skyrocket to the fucking moon, man. This is where your damage comes to, like, a peak of, like, holy shit, okay? Now, with this build, with all of that procced, I think my skill power caps out at, like, 575k. But when you fully min-max this build, your build can cap out at 770k skill power, maybe 780. I've capped it pretty fucking high before. And it hits like a truck. I'm telling you what, man. Next, kill a hostile with an explosive. This is where your sticky bomb comes in and your Seeker Mines, because they're both explosives. So kill a hostile with an explosion to increase explosion damage by 20%. See, this is where your Seeker Mine and your sticky bomb pair with each other, because if you were to kill someone with your sticky bomb, it's going to increase your next explosion damage by 20%, which is your Seeker Mines. So when all this shit comes into play, man, increased skill damage, increased damage with your explosions, damage adds up, man. And you only have a 15-second window to do all of this. So for instance, if I was to kill a shield guy with a sticky bomb, I throw out my seeker mines right after that just to make sure my seeker mines come out within the 15 seconds. My seeker mines will now do 20% more explosion damage, which means when the seeker mine hits an enemy, it explodes, which does damage. So that's 20% more damage on top of the bleed procs, which will be increased by another, what, 60% skill damage because of all of my skill power procs plus my stacks or whatever you got. It adds up. And this can continuously stay at 20% because if you're killing someone with seeker mines every couple seconds, this is continuously going to proc, so your sticky bomb's always going to hit harder. Next, chain reaction. Damage multiple enemy hostiles with explosions to apply 20% more damage from the blast. This is where your seeker mine comes into play, because your seeker mines don't always seek out individual targets. Sometimes two hit one target, you know, one hits another one. But sometimes a seeker mine will hit one enemy, but there's two enemies standing there. Well, they both just got hit by the blast of your seeker mine because they're within the blast radius. So if one seeker mine hits two enemies, it applies a 20% more damage to the blast. So hitting multiple people with one seeker mine is going to increase the blast, which is nice. Which is going to increase the damage from the blast, not increase the blast. I can't read. Jesus. So yeah, that just makes your single seeker mines do more damage when they hit multiple enemies, because it does happen. Seeker mines will either hit one enemy, they'll either hit two enemies, or three if you're lucky, or two seeker mines will hit one enemy. Or the occasional two seeker mines will hit multiple enemies. It's just kind of random. So very powerful. So yeah, this is the build. I can go show you a little bit of what the build can do. Like I said, this build's not min-maxed. It's not, you know, it's not fucking insane. But it will be insane when you get it fully optimized to like the best stats, to like the best stuff. And by the way, all of this gear is fully maxed out. Like it's fully upgraded to the max. Like everything is fully upgraded, everything's fully maxed out. And this is where I'm at. And it's actually trash. Like 391k is not a lot. It's enough to do challenge mode, but it's not a lot. Me personally, I like damage. I like the big bore damage, okay? So we got my gun out. So if we switch the gun, we'll show you guys what this stuff looks like. 18.5, 65%. And then we switch the gun.
If you can get them out before blowing the lid off, I'd be grateful.
We're looking at 14 and 67. So the Elvoa has less crit chance, which, like I said, I switched out the crit chance on the scope for crit damage because I don't really care about it. See, fights like these, sticky bomb. You don't need your turret. The turret is only for stacks. For fights like these, you don't need stacks. So, because I have no stacks, that doesn't matter. When there's only this many enemies, don't worry about stacks. Your stacks will eventually come over time by either shooting the enemy here and there or using a turret on like a big heavy dude. So, to start a fight, you kind of want to prioritize the fight on people like these because they can throw grenades, they can call enemies to your position, or you can attack medics, or you can attack these fuckers.
No. Damn
Grenaders.
it, we lost a good man.
Sorry, Captain, but we've got to stay focused.
Yeah.
You need to keep moving,
so
Agent.
I'm gonna prioritize him. See, look at that, 1.7 million damage, and then you throw a seeker mine, and then you just let your stuff go to town. See, look at the bottom of my screen, my explosion damage. There's a bleed, 100k bleed to armor, and now it's doing 70k to the health. And see, now my sticky bomb's already back because, yeah, cooldown, man. Haste, that's the way of the game. See, look at Seeker Mine's already back too. So you just pop that shit out. If you want some healing, switch to your weapon. Get some healing. When I kill an enemy, I'll get a healing. You'll see at the bottom of the screen. There it is, the little tiger. And if someone's low health, boom, shoot them to get some stacks. You'll see the American flag down there. You'll see talented down there. You'll see the explosion damage down there. and you'll see my damage increased because of that one stack of Tactician. Plus, I also had Talented, which is 15% skill power. Look at that. Boom! So, the build will progressively get more and stronger as the fight goes. As long as you keep Talented procced and have a 30 stack, it'll go crazy. Like, I'll show you guys what the stacks look like. Because when you get full stacks and you get Talented and you were to kill a med box, which there's no med box in this area, but I'll show you guys. Now this part's probably gonna be a little bit crazy. I'm gonna put a turret down just because I don't want to like get hit. So for this part, I would recommend a fire turret. But we're gonna put this down just to keep people off of me. But I'm gonna try to go for 30 stacks. And because that guy died, I got predatory. But now I'm going to switch to my other weapon. And there's my Talented, and there's my 30 stacks. 505,000. And that's only with Talented and 30 stacks. Now, if I was to add the other skill power damage from killing an enemy med box or whatever, it would go even higher. And this is only with 30 stacks of Tactician. But now that I have both skills, off cooldown, I gained a 10% increased skill power bonus. That's why it's so high. But now if I'm able to kill someone to get Talented again, my damage will go higher. I'm just gonna run from this guy because I don't want to heal. There we go. Now I have Talented, and I lost my stack because it required my stacks to heal. And there's my stacks. So let's go down here and we'll show you guys what we got. 30 stacks plus Talented, 537k. And this is with my skills off cooldown, and Talented, and the chest piece 10%, capped out at 537. And then if you add killing an enemy med box or whatever, that's like another 15%, which would put me at 565,000 tech or something like that. 565 skill power or more. So like the damage just adds up, you guys. Like it really does. So this is just with 30 stacks right here, and the 10% buff from the chest piece. Like, look at that. Like, it has enough damage to do the content. My bad, you guys. As you see, I exited out of the game. That was my bad. But hopefully this build helps you guys out, for those newbies out there or anyone who actually has questions about this build, because like I said, the YouTubers who do builds on this don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Because when you actually mid-max this build will annihilate content. And I'm talking like actually like you can one-shot every enemy in the game on challenge mode with your Seeker Mines. Like, your Seeker Mines will kill everyone, and when it comes to heavy shield people, your Sticky Bomb will one-shot anything, even a boss. And like I said, when it comes to co-op, playing with your friends, enemy difficulty goes higher, they're more tankier. With the build that I'm showing you, if you were to like actually scale it higher, which I'm trying to do, but like I said, it takes time, and you actually min-max the build where your skill power goes over 420,000, and you get your stuff going, you can one-shot anything on cooperative mode with your friends on challenge. Because I was playing with friends back in the day, and I was able to one-shot like heavy gunners, like, yeah, the LMG dudes or the shielded guys or even bosses with a Sticky Bomb for over 12 million damage. There's no enemy in the game that has that much fucking damage. Even in Legendary, I don't think they have 12 million. Now, when it comes to Legendary, you can solo Legendary like a piece of cake. Like, it's a fucking breeze. But there's some legendaries that might kick your ass because they require a little bit more strategic, like, ways of doing it. But legendary is definitely doable because your damage is just ridiculous. And when I'm talking like crazy damage with this build, I'm talking your sticky bomb can pump out about 16 to 17 million damage in legendary mode with things procced. I've already tested it on stream. I don't know if it's on my live stream, but it's there. I streamed it. There's proof. I had all of my stuff procced. I don't even think I was wearing the Brett's chest piece either. But your Seeker Mines, the explosion damage of each of your Seeker Mines can do about 535,000, 550k explosion, which is enough to almost one-shot a yellow challenge mode enemy. And then you have the bleed that follows behind that, which caps, I think, around 375,000, maybe over 400, 500k. Actually, take that back. Your explosion damage can actually cap out at around 700k when everything is procced. And then your bleeds can cap out at 500 and something thousand. I had that backwards. Had it wrong. Yeah, so your bleeds can get up to about 530, 560k a tick. And obviously there's no enemy in the game that has that much health. Even in Legendary, dude, like, if you were to fight a yellow Legendary enemy, if your Seeker Mine explodes for 600,000, 700k, that's already almost their whole shield, their whole armor. And then you add another 500k plus bleed on top of that, they'll die in 2 or 3 seconds. Like, it's almost like insta-death. And it applies to bosses too. Like, if your shit's high enough, all Seeker Mines hitting the same boss on top of a sticky bomb, dude, you're looking at fucking like 20 million damage in a matter of like, what, 5 seconds? Because your Seeker Mines, the ticks, it's absurd. Like, it is actually insane. There's no boss in the game that has that much fucking health, at least from what I've experienced. And when I'm talking damage, dude, you know those big fat flamethrower dudes with canisters on them? You could one-shot one of those enemies with a sticky bomb. Just straight shoot him in the chest, boom, dead. For like fucking 15, 16 million damage, just one shot. It's the funniest shit ever. But yeah, if this build helped you guys, let me know in the comments, because I've had people ask me how this build works, and I've had people on console ask me, how the hell is your build so powerful? And they didn't believe me it was powerful. I've carried people through content. Yeah, this is just a build that it does take time to actually get mid-maxed, and like I said, this build is not mid-maxed. It's not even anywhere near mid-maxed in my opinion. But it's good enough to do the content. It's good enough to get by. But I do have a build website that I worked on, and I built this build, and I think the build was like 412,000 skill power, but like I said, it goes higher. But yeah, if you guys have any like questions about the build, just let me know in the comments or whatever. If you you know, yeah. I really hope this helps out some of you people who are new to the game, who are wanting to play the build or don't understand it. Like I said, don't listen to those other YouTubers. They don't know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to tech builds. I've been playing this tech build since the game's been out. Like, I played this from day one. Like, this was my first build in the game. And I still play this build. And I play tech builds in Division 2. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. I know it could have been more entertaining. I could have added more gameplay, but I was trying to give a more in-depth guide of what you guys needed to know. Hopefully it helped. Hopefully my guide wasn't too confusing. Like I said, just hit me up if you have any questions. Because this build works in Underground. It works in the Dark Zone for killing enemies, not players, but just enemies. It works in Challenge Mode. It works in Legendary. It'll work in parties, but your damage won't be that high. You know, just so and so. So just, yeah. Test out the build yourself. Just a reminder, well, not a reminder, but a note. Tactician Classified, in my opinion, is actually shittier than Tactician Normal. Just keep that in mind. Because I was playing the normal tactician build on console, and I was capped at a 427,000 skill power passively with no buffs. So, and like I said, the gear I'm wearing right now is fully maxed out, fully optimized, fully everything. And I can't even hit 400k. So just keep that in mind. So I might even switch over to the normal tactician myself. So, but yeah, see y'all later.